not a winner here at all. I don't pay attention to it.
Where do you think you rank among the NBA's best players right now?
I feel like I'm the best player.
Put up the numbers, people chant the city like he's unstoppable. Feel like the word against me got me going even harder. Take off like a rocket, I'ma snap it like I'm Harden.
All right, as we've been talking about, guys, James Harden clearly wants to make a move. We know initially it said he wanted to go to Brooklyn. That didn't pan out. Now he's saying he's open to going to Philly and to other contenders. That, according to our Woj and Tim McMahon. So, Stephen A., do this thought experiment with me in terms of Philly. If the Rockets wanted Ben Simmons in any deal and you were the Sixers, would you trade him for Harden?
Reluctantly, I would say yes, because I'm a huge fan of Ben Simmons. He needs to shoot the ball better. I think that he is a jump shot away from being LeBron James 2.0. That's how good I think Ben Simmons is. He's the real deal in every other category: ball handling, basketball IQ, just defensively, of course, everything. And he's 6'10" with a nasty handle. And brother's special. But he ain't James Harden. Not when it comes to putting that ball in the hole. I'm getting sick and tired of people acting like they forgot who the hell James Harden really is. James Harden, ladies and gentlemen, is a person that has averaged 25 plus a game since 2012. James Harden is a dude that has averaged over 30 for the last 3 years. 30, 36, and 34 to be exact, okay? This is that James Harden. James Harden is a career 35% shooter from three-point range. 44% shooter from the field, 85% from the free throw line. He is one of the most unstoppable offensive forces this game has ever seen. You'd be hard-pressed to come up with 3 scorers in the history of basketball more lethal than James Harden. And then we have to take into account, y'all, who we're talking about here. We're talking about a Philadelphia 76ers franchise that hasn't won a title since 1983. We're talking about a coach in Doc Rivers who I personally love and profoundly respect, but was not able to get the Clippers to the conference finals in all 7 years he was in LA. And we're talking about a guy in Daryl Morey who is a magician as an executive, highly respected and well-deserved, and I'm very fond of him as well. But in his 12, 13 years in Houston, never got over the hump. Never got them to the finals, let alone the ring. So when you have Daryl Morey, who's James Harden's former boss, in Houston, did everything he could to get James Harden that championship. He's now in Philly. And you got Doc Rivers, highly motivated, especially since I think he got a raw deal because of the bubble. I think if the Clippers had lost without any bubble, then okay, it's justified to let him go. But considering all the issues that everybody had for Doc Rivers to lose his job after the bubble, I didn't like that. But he's motivated and has something to prove. The time is now. Ben Simmons, Max, is going to be that dude 5, 10 years from now, all that stuff. Hell, 3 years from now. He's that special. But he cannot shoot yet. And when you talk about Embiid and Seth Curry and Thibault and Tobias Harris and all of these brothers, and you talking about competing for the chip, you need James Harden in Philadelphia more than you need Ben Simmons right now and for the next 2 to 3 years while KD and Kyrie are in Brooklyn.
Okay, first of all, one of the top 3 most lethal scorers in history, Stephen A. Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, Wilt Chamberlain, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and Kevin Durant. There's 5 right there, clearly better scorers than James Harden. I don't want to and here I'm saying I don't want to hear about the analytics.
Okay.
The game has changed enough. No doubt those 5 are better scorers than James Harden. In their era, you would rap like we've seen those. We've seen most of those guys live.
Will Chamberlain is like a different category. You know what I'm saying? 7 feet. Okay,
I mean, come on. No bigs. You don't want bigs.
Talk about the guards.
I got you. Fair enough.
Okay.
Fair enough. Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, Kevin Durant. Case closed. Harden can't score those guys. Stop.
No, I can't.
Kobe Bryant scored 35 points a game in an era where when the Pistons were holding teams like under 2 points a game. Okay, right. So here's the thing. You say reluctantly, you say yes, they should include Simmons. Reluctantly, now I'm on the other side of that. I was on that side. I'm on the other side. I say no. And the reason is something that Derek Bodner brought up, the guy who covers the Sixers for The Athletic. First of all, Harden has maybe 2 more years, I would say, like a realistic estimate of MVP level play. And that's who you're really trading Simmons for, because you're hoping Simmons develops into an MVP player. He ain't, as you said, he's a jump shot away, right? Even if he never gets that, he's better than just an all-star. So you want MVP Harden, and you want to pair him with Embiid, and he's 32 years old, Harden. Simmons is coming into his age 24 season. Big age difference. Simmons is 6'10", as you said. He does a lot of things, has a broad skill set, with the exception of a jump shot that should actually age well. But maybe 2 more years for Harden. So not only are you saying, okay, here's Ben Simmons. We want James Harden to help win a championship with Embiid over the next 2 seasons, and you wouldn't make them the favorite over Brooklyn, would you? Even in the East? Or what about Milwaukee? Yes, no, maybe? So he has 2 seasons to get it done. Not only get out of the East, win a championship with Embiid. And then you're figuring he's probably not an MVP. Still could be a great player, but not an MVP caliber player anymore. But here's the problem. This is what Bodner brought up, okay? Stephen A., I think it's a really good point, and it has me thinking about it differently. What has Harden done so far? What's his track record with other stars that he's played with? And forget about Oklahoma City. He and Westbrook didn't coexist great on the court together in Oklahoma City. That's why he's the 6th man, really. And he didn't ask to be traded. He was just traded. But once he got to the Rockets, he wanted Chris Paul. They got him Chris Paul. They had to give up a lot to get him. And what was the upshot of that? Soon he didn't want Chris Paul anymore, right? Okay, no, get me Russell Westbrook. And they have to trade a lot to get Westbrook, first-round picks and stuff. And what was the upshot with Westbrook? Very quickly, it was like, no, I don't need Westbrook anymore. This isn't working. So not only do you have to hope that James Harden stays MVP level, and that's good enough to win a championship, but you got to hope it works with Embiid. Do you think Joel Embiid's going to be happy watching James Harden shoot 13 threes a game? I don't know about that. I don't know how that pairing works. I think it works pretty well enough to win a championship, well enough to give up Simmons' future. I don't know. If I were Daryl Morey, and I think he's probably thinking this, I'm going to try by hook or by crook to try to package every single asset I have to get Harden without giving up Simmons or Embiid.
Well, first of all, of course you want to hold on to Ben Simmons if you could. I'm just surmising that if you're the Houston Rockets, it's no way in hell you're giving up James Harden, and it's a deal that doesn't include either Simmons or Embiid. That's all I'm saying. I mean, of course you want to keep Embiid and Simmons if you can pull it off. I understand that. But here's what I would tell you, Max Kellerman. I would remind you that 4 years ago, when James Harden averaged 29 instead of 30, he led the league in assists at 11.2. Let's remember he was coming off the bench in Oklahoma City in the early part of the career, and numerous folks thought that they were better with him at the point that they were with Russell Westbrook. James Harden can pass the ball. James Harden has averaged a minimum of 7 assists per game over the last 6-7 years. James Harden is not this dude. Sure. Does he bounce the ball a little bit too much? Of course he does. No question about it, because that's what D'Antoni allowed. I don't think Doc Rivers would allow that. But more importantly than that, let's not act like James Harden can't make the necessary adjustments to do what needs to be done if he believes that the formula is going to equate to winning. And I think that we got to give him respect where respect is due. And when you consider the kind of offensive juggernaut that he is, this notion that he's got 2 years left, Max, I beg to differ. I think James Harden can easily average 25 for at least the next 4 to 5 years. Because that's how lethal he is offensively.
Yes. Yes, he can. But what about, like, in other words, you're giving up Simmons' whole future. What you're saying is we believe that an MVP caliber player, not a dude who needs to take a next step, but a dude who's there now, we can pair with Embiid and win a championship. What I'm saying is Harden might average 25. You throw that about KD after Achilles also. Well, he could average 25 in his sleep. But you and I both knows you can average 25 and not be an MVP and not be your former self.
But I'm not saying that.
The next 2 years, he's probably 4 years now, he's going to be an MVP.
He's not required to be an MVP. I'm just telling you right now, James Harden is significantly more explosive than Ben Simmons offensively, and that's what the Sixers need in the Eastern Conference if you're going to compete with Brooklyn and Milwaukee.
They win a championship?
That's why I'm saying that. And you need it done within the next 5
2 years with those two?
Huh?
Oh, 5 years. You think they're going to last 5 years? What has Harden never lasted 5 years with another star?
I did not hear you. What did you ask?
I'm saying, What I'm saying is the next 2 years, do you think they'll win a championship together, Embiid and Harden?
I don't think so, because I don't think they're going to knock off the Lakers, but I think that gives them their best chance. I think it gives them a better chance over the next 3 or 4 years, not just 2, 3 or 4 years. I think that gives them their best shot other than Simmons, because Simmons won't shoot.
All right, we got to roll. Harden has led the league in scoring the last 3 years, and we'll keep you up to speed on his potential whereabouts moving forward here. But we want to get back to football.